Welp, y'all, we are back. I don't know what's on my phone. There's some yellowness to it. Makes my beard look funny, even. I may be going blonde or gray. Both. Who knows? But no, it wasn't like that until I clicked on coloring and whatnot. I'm not a videographer. But here we are, day 44 of this story. What say you? You ready to get into it? We were talking about old Mr. Jeroboam and Mr. Rehoboam. All these Boam dudes, everybody naming their kids alike. Why are they doing that? Confusing people, right? No, they was confused and following other gods. That's going to be an issue. That's going to be a big issue. So let's see where we're at in this story and what goes on. And he had just talked about how the anger had been aroused, right? Yeah, and that was for old Mr. Jeroboam doing stuff Jeroboam should not have been doing, and how he maybe had done stuff, and then they got him to say sorry, and then he said, I'm going right back to do it. Shame on you. Because of this, I'm going to bring disaster on the house of Jeroboam. I will cut off from Jeroboam every last male in Israel, slave or free. I will burn up the house of Jeroboam as one burns dung until it is all gone. Dogs will eat those belonging to Jeroboam who die in the city, and the birds will feed on those who die in the country. The Lord has spoken. As for you, go back home. When you set foot in your city, the boy will die. All Israel will mourn for him and bury him. He is the only one belonging to Jeroboam who will be buried, because he is the only one in the house of Jeroboam whom the Lord, the God of Israel, has found anything good. Young kid, come on. The Lord will raise up for himself a king over Israel who will cut off the family of Jeroboam. Even now, this is beginning to happen, and the Lord will strike Israel so that it will be like a reed swaying in the water. He will uproot Israel from this good land that is he gave to their ancestors, and scatter them beyond the Euphrates River, because they aroused the Lord's anger by making Asherah poles. You don't mean no Asherah pole, Mr. Jeroboam. What is wrong with you? And he will give Israel up because of the sins of Jeroboam, the sins Jeroboam has committed and has caused Israel to commit. Then Jeroboam's wife got up and left and went to Tirzah. As soon as she stepped over the threshold of the house, the boy died. They buried him, and all Israel mourned for him, as the Lord had said through his servant, the prophet Ahiah. Rehoboam, son of Solomon, was king of Judah. He was 41 years old when he became king. He reigned 17 years in Jerusalem, the city the Lord had chosen out of all the tribes of Israel in which to put his name. Judah did evil in the eyes of the Lord, but the sins that they committed, by the sins they committed, they stirred up his jealous anger more than those who were before them had done. They also set up for themselves high places, sacred stones, and Asherah poles on every high hill and under every spreading tree. There were even male shrine prostitutes in the land, and the people engaged in all the detestable practices of the nations the Lord had driven out before the Israelites. Y'all know, come on. These poles, these other gods, bad. These prostitutes, sexual sin is the one sin God says. He says, don't just try to resist it. He said, flee, run. You ain't going to resist. Run. Because even giving it time of day, you're going to be in trouble. Do not be caught off guard. And there they are, doing it in a temple. In a shrine. Not the temple. Shrine. But, yeah, that's for that fake stuff. Take that, fake stuff. In the 5th year of King Rehoboam, Shishak, king of Egypt, attacked Jerusalem. He carried off the treasures of the temple and the Lord and the temple of the Lord and the treasures of the royal palace. He took everything, including all the gold shields Solomon had made. So King Rehoboam made bronze shields to replace them and assigned these to the commanders of the guard on duty at the entrance of the royal palace. Whenever the king went to the Lord's temple, the guards bore the shields, and afterwards they returned them to the guard room. There was continual warfare between Rehoboam and Jeroboam. And Rehoboam rested with his ancestors and was buried with them in the city of David. His mother's name was Naamah. She was an Ammonite. And Abijah, his son, succeeded him as king. In the 18th year of the reign of Jeroboam's son, Nebat, Abijah became king of Judah, and he reigned in Jerusalem 3 years. His mother's name was Maacah, daughter of Absalom. Abshalom. Yeah. Not Absalom. Abishalom. Words. He committed all the sins his father had done before him. His heart was not fully devoted to the Lord his God, as the heart of David his forefather had been. Nevertheless, for David's sake, the Lord his God gave him a lamp in Jerusalem by raising up a son to succeed him and making Jerusalem strong. For David had done what was right in the eyes of the Lord, and had not failed to keep any of the Lord's commands all the days of his life, except in the case of Uriah the Hittite. Quite a few of them busted there, huh? Yeah, probably ought to watch out for that. There was war between Abijah and Jeroboam throughout Abijah's lifetime. And Abijah rested with his ancestors, and he was buried in the city of David. And Asa, his son, succeeded him as king. In the 20th year of Jeroboam, king of Israel, Asa became king of Judah, and he reigned in Jerusalem 40 years. That's a long time. His grandmother's name was Maacah, daughter of Abishalom. Abishalom. We're going to go with Abishalom. I like that. Shalom, my brethren. Asa, sounds like a girl's name to me, but Asa did what was right in the eyes of the Lord. Good for you, as his father David had done. Now keep in mind, this is the way they talked back then. It's not really his father, but like a great-great-grandfather. He expelled the male shrine prostitutes from the land and got rid of all the idols his ancestors had made. Good dude right there. He even deposed his grandmother Maacah from her position as queen mother because she had made a repulsive image for the worship of Asherah. Bad deal. Asa cut it down and burned it in the Kidron Valley. Although he did not remove the high places, Asa's heart was fully committed to the Lord all his life. He brought into the temple of the Lord the silver and the gold and the articles that he and his father had dedicated. There was war between Asa and Baasha, king of Israel, throughout their reigns. Baasha, king of Israel, went up against Judah and fortified Ramah to prevent anyone from leaving or entering the territory of Asa, king of Judah. Asa then took all the silver and gold that was left in the treasuries of the Lord's temple and of his own palace. He entrusted it to his officials and sent them to Ben-Hadad, son of Tabrimon, the son of Hezion, the king of Aram. Words, man, that is huge, right? Who was ruling in Damascus. Yeah, let there be a treaty between me and you, he said, as there was between my father and your father. See, I am sending you a gift of silver and gold. Now break your treaty with Baasha, king of Israel, so he will withdraw from me. Ben-Hadad agreed with the king Asa and sent the commanders of his force against the towns of Israel. He conquered Ijon, Dan, Abel, Beth Makkah, and all Kinnereth, in addition to Naphtali. When Baasha heard this, he stopped building Ramah and withdrew to Tirzah. Then King Asa issued an order to all Judea. No one was exempt, and they carried away from Ramah the stones and timber Baasha had been using there. With them King Asa built up Geba in Benjamin, and also Mizpah. As for the other events of Asa's reign, all his achievements, all he did, and the cities he built, are they not written in the book of the annals of the kings of Judah? In his old age, however, his feet became diseased, and Asa rested with his ancestors and was buried with them in the city of his father David. And Jehoshaphat, his son, succeeded him as king. Jehoshaphat. Not Josaphat, but Jehoshaphat. After 22 years as king of Israel, Jeroboam also died. Wait now. After 22 years as king of Israel, Jeroboam also died. Y'all count up how long these other kings were there. Tell me if the math is mathin' for you, right? Well, that's something we got to look into a little bit later. I don't know if the math's mathin', and I don't know if they had it right here. This is after 22 years as king of Israel, Jeroboam also died, right? But we know that Asa lived for 40 years as king. And this was after two other kings that were with Jeroboam. Weird. Various kings reigned in Israel and Judah. Most of them did evil. Only a few kings were considered good. The king, like King Asa of Judah, who did what was right in the eyes of the Lord. Doing right included ridding the kingdom of idolatry. King Asa went as far as to remove his grandmother, Makkah, from her lofty position of queen mother because of her pagan worship. Asa did not stop there. He understood that only the Lord God was worthy of worship, and he cleaned the entire land of Judah of its idols on the despicable side. On the despicable side, Jeroboam's son Nadab did evil in the eyes of the Lord, following in the ways of his father. A man named Baasha plotted against Nadab and killed the king and Jeroboam's whole family, fulfilling God's prophecy through the prophet Ahijah. But Baasha committed the same sin Jeroboam had caused Israel to commit. Was no better as a king. And he was no better as a king. Likewise, Zimri, who also followed the evil ways of Jeroboam, killed his predecessor, King Elah, who to get onto the throne. But Zimri had failed to calculate his popular support and lack thereof, and was in power all of 7 days before burning himself to death in the palace and leaving the ashes of his discontent to Omri, the people's choice. During his reign, Omri made the city of Samaria the capital of the northern kingdom, and Samaria was called, and Samaria also came to signify the entire territory of the northern tribes. When Omri died, his son Ahab became king of Israel, but the real power in the family was Ahab's infamous wife, Jezebel, a powerful woman of iron will and the daughter of a pagan foreign king. Ahab and Jezebel worshipped Baal and hated the prophets of God, of whom Elijah was chief. And then Elijah became, this isn't Elijah, maybe Elijah. Yeah, we're going to go with good enough. Became public enemy number 1. But God had a fiery confrontation planned to show the people whose side God himself was on. So tough when you're trying to say these words right. It is so tough. Y'all, I got to go. I'm already late. I got to go because I only got a little bit left in this chapter. In the 38th year of Asa, king of Judah, Ahab, son of Omri, became king of Israel and reigned in Samaria over Israel. 22 years, Ahab, son of Omri, did more evil in the eyes of the Lord than any of those before him. He not only considered it trivial to commit these sins, the sins of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, but he also married Jezebel, daughter of Ethbaal, king of the Sidonians, and began to serve Baal and worship him. He set up an altar for Baal in the temple of Baal that he built in Samaria. Ahab also made an Asherah pole and did more to arouse the anger of the Lord, the God of Israel, than did all the kings of Israel before him. In Ahab's time, Hiel and Bethel rebuilt Jericho. He laid its foundations at the cost of his firstborn son Abiram, and he set up its gates at the cost of his youngest son Segub, in accordance with the word of the Lord spoken by Joshua, son of Nun. Man, it went way long today, y'all. But boy, it was good. Getting that done, getting that over with. We are done with 14, getting ready for chapter 15, God's messengers. Man, y'all. Look at how these stiff-necked group of people, not just stiff-necked, these weren't just stiff-necked. Y'all, these they turned from God. They're worshiping these other gods, worshiping Baal. Man, that Jezebel. Get out of here, Jezebel. Asa said, mama, you done screwed up. You got to leave. That's what they needed to do with Miss Jezebel. But look what's happening. Got that whole up and down they're going through. Names abound everywhere, trying to figure out all the names. Who cares? We see the point. Turn to God and don't turn from him. Hey, I love y'all. I'm sorry it's almost 20 minutes. I hope y'all have a blessed day, and we'll see you later. Bye.